I did want to start with Ted Lasso, which also had its series finale.
And did all of us finish watching Ted Lasso?
I have not, but don't worry.
all right.
You know, it's spoiler alerts, whatever you got to do. It's all fine.
Whatever you got to do.
There's one episode left in season 2, right?
What? So I finished it and I was very happy and satisfied, except that I didn't want it to end. But it did feel like a very logical conclusion, so I understand why they did what they did. I was a big fan of Ted Lasso. It was joy watching. It was a character that was never annoyed or ruffled,
right?
Even though he was going through his own stuff. In his work life, he was very positive and had such a good effect on the team, which was, of course, the joke of the show. Very unexpected because he knew nothing about the sport, really. So I enjoyed it so much, and the performances were incredible. I'm glad that they were able to wrap it up in a way that felt satisfying. What did you guys think?
I didn't mind the third season. I mean, kind of knew where we're going with Nathan Shelley.
Oh, really? I thought, are we going to just have this bad guy? This is the assistant coach who was so sweet in season 1 and then has a real dark turn. And I was concerned that in season 3, it was going to continue and not wrap up in, spoiler alert, a happier way.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate it ending in a bad way for that character because he had like this family story that they had built into season 1, and then his desire to be like, the Ted Lasso, best bud friend. Like he sees all these other guys in the Diamond Dogs and he's really trying to figure out how to be that, but he ends up basically backfiring and becoming an a-hole for a little bit. But I kind of knew that he was going to be redeemed. My only issue was then that wasn't a Ted Lasso season. So for me, there wasn't enough Ted Lasso in season 3. Like there was no darts that he played and stomped on a millionaire or something like that. So they just had so many more characters to play with, even bringing back Trent Krim from The Independent, now an actual independent reporter, was a great way to incorporate him into the whole season. But it was another good character that we're going to have like way too much not Ted time for me. So I enjoyed the whole season, but I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of Ted. They're going to be wrapping up everybody's storylines.
Well, I didn't anticipate that it was going to be less Ted. And regarding Trent Krim, the Independent, I always felt like he was sort of there. But boy, this season 3, was a real Trent Krim extravaganza, a lovely amount of story and backstory from him.
I'd take a spinoff of Trent Krim. Independent.
Well, you're right. Season 3 did focus a lot on wrapping up other people's stories, even though the through line was what's going on with Ted. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? How is his mental health? That was an underlying thing. But we really got a lot of story about, for example, Rebecca Wellington. Mm-hmm. How is she going to deal with this?
So fabulous.
Oh my gosh. Hannah Waddingham. Amazing. So we got a lot of her character evolution. A lot of this was character evolution. Jamie Tart is a great example, going from such a self-absorbed, jerky pants. I was going to say dick, but I was like, maybe I won't, but then I did. Okay, so anyway, going from where he started, where he was extremely self-absorbed, a fantastic player and not really good at being on a team.
A star on the rise with, the hot girl on his side. Of course, that's the character.
Exactly. Speaking of hot girl on the side, Keely Jones, Juno Temple character, she is amazing, and what a great storyline they worked out with her for season 3.
Yeah, she had depth that the first few episodes you didn't think was going to be there, but they really allowed that to develop, and probably because the actress was so capable of that.
Yeah.
Like the friendship.
Well, the friendship too. Yeah.
The friendship was so unexpected.
Oh, so good.
And great.
Yeah,
two women
her and Rebecca
having each other's backs. And then Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent.
Oh, he's just such a curmudgeon. It's so great.
It's so crazy that he was basically on the production side.
Yeah, he was a writer.
And he submitted himself like, I think I'd be good for this part.
I love
and that should be a life lesson to everybody. It never hurts to ask. It never hurts to try. Because look what happened. It completely changed his life.
Yeah. It's funny because he has talked about it in interviews where he is a big fan of the Muppets and he's a fun, in-person character, like his real personality. And so...
Oh, you couldn't be like that in a writing room. Yeah, no.
No, you mean the character of
Roy Kent would not be good in a writing table. No.
And obviously in this season 3, Roy Kent had a really great evolution, and you want to see him happy and in a better place. So the story that he tells, which you're alluding to, is that he's working in the writing room and he thinks, you know what, I feel like I could play Roy Kent. And so he taped himself and did a self-submit, a self-tape, and then submitted himself and basically said in the email, if I'm completely wrong, just ignore this email like it never happened.
I still want the writing job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't mess with that. So, and then I guess they just, in the end, were like, no, good enough is what they, I don't know if they said exactly good enough, but they were sort of like, well, no, we think you're good. We'll use you, which is amazing.
Do you think the concept, I mean, is it from a real coach that he borrowed this from? The concept of, I will not use a whistle. Whistle! Whistle!
Oh my God, that is so funny. I had kind of forgotten, and there was a lot of it in this season 3.
Yes.
I was like, the first time it happened, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Oh, that's right. He hates the whistle. And then they're like, do you want a plastic whistle? He's like, no. Whistle! Like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, he might have gotten. I mean, listen, the world of football in Europe is huge, and there's big personalities. So if you were trying to find characters to pull, traits from, I'm sure they existed.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Coach Beard, Brendan Hunt, and also I will say Jeremy Swift, who played Higgins. Fabulous casting, great support cast.
I mean, did we get any bass playing in season 3?
It's pretty good.
When was the trip? They went out of town and there was the bass playing. Was that this season? I don't know. It was great.
Yeah,
it was so great. Oh, it was
and
so
then
good.
we have to figure out what we're going to do. I would like to pitch my cousin, Martin Garrix, is throwing a party. It's only 4-hour drive away.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So a couple other call outs just before we wrap up on the wrapped up Ted Lasso. Speaking of playing the bass, that kit man, is that what they call it? Where like the replacement for Nathan Shelley, who comes in, the young guy who's in charge of putting out the towels and whatever.
He might be the kit manager, but sure.
The kit manager. Thank you, John. His name, Will Kitman, apparently. He was so good. I loved him. And of course, that scene where they go to this bar, when they're in Amsterdam, he thinks it's going to be like prostitutes or something. And then it's like, oh, it's a jazz club. Oh, okay. That was very funny.
He was a great excuse for us to be in places that we had no reason to be in. Like when Roy and Jamie like break off and have that big moment and they're crying. And then he comes in afterwards. You missed a big one, pal. Oh, you could just see the look on his face. Like, I know that it's written that I should have been here for all of these, but now my character has to experience missing one. Oh.
Yeah. So another call out. The character, Sam Obisanya, is so great and played so well.
Yeah.
And this is going to come up later because John and I watched another show that he's in. Love him. I don't know how to say his name. Maybe it's Toheeb Jimoh. Anyway, he is amazing, and we'll talk about him more when we talk about The Power. Spoiler, that's coming up. Okay, so, and last I wanted to bring up the character and the actor, the storyline with Colin Hughes. Oh my gosh, his name is Billy Harris. What a great story to integrate coming out in the sports world as a storyline. Was really well done, I thought.
Yeah, and between him and the coach Isaac, the tension and energy that they had between them, but why it was tense, it was on his side, and he didn't understand why he couldn't be trusted with that. It read very well, because that was like almost a Roy Kent character where he was getting really angry.
Sorry to interrupt. You mean the team captain?
Yeah, team captain.
Team captain. Got it. Yeah, he was great. Oh, yeah. I loved him. He was so fun. I mean, having a huge group, this cast
ensemble,
they really did justice, giving all of them a very unique little storyline. Some not little, some very big. Mm-hmm. I thought they did a great job.
Well, it seems like Apple, this helped put them on the map along with the morning show. And they really are leaning into these very large concept ensemble shows. And it worked well for them. I think people are sad it wrapped up after only 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But, you'd rather have 3 great seasons than... and so many people in this cast seem to be potentially going on to other shows.
Yeah, this has launched a lot of people, I think.
So it might be hard to keep them all in Europe doing this show for months and months and months.
Yeah.
Including Jason Sudeikis, who co-created it and stars in it, and he has 2 young children. So it might be hard to be away that many months. So kudos to all of them.
Might be getting too close to home.
Oh, geez.
working that far away from your kids.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's move on because we've talked about this. Unless we're going to do a whole episode on it.
No.
You have so many that you want to talk about.
We have so many shows.
Along,
okay.
lady.
So good job, everybody. Moving on from that. All right.